Friday night, I want a Chippy Tea. Chippy Tea, Chippy Tea, I want a Chippy Tea. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry Kool-Aid. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.
Right, let's kick this off. Let's go with welcome to episode 90. I didn't think that when we started, when I had a pint of Guinness in front of me and in Dublin that time, or whenever it was, that we'd ever get to doing 90 of these.
Episodes.
Yeah,
Wow.
so, and I am, everywhere I go, people say to me, only last night, somebody said to me, love the episode, love the podcast, really great job, well done, keep it up. And they're from Canada.
Wow.
So, you know, it's not to be trifled with. We don't underestimate the support that we get, and that, you know, people enjoy listening to us too. From Yorkshire, rattle on
we
for a
have
little
on
bit.
the industry.
Influence, yeah, definitely.
The influence. Oh, God,
So-
we're influencers now.
I know, yeah. I keep telling my kids I'm that, and they just don't believe me. They tell me to shut up, sit down in my old rocking chair and have a cocoa. So, welcome to episode 90 of the Chippy Tea podcast. What is the Chippy Tea podcast? I hear you all ask. It is your chance. Don't shake your head. Nobody asked. It is your chance to catch up with me, Tony Palmer from Palm Print, and
Danny D. Flipping Sweet Print Co.
oh, that were a cool pause. That yeah,
Had to,
you're definitely
remember
with the
my
cool
lines.
kids now. So we have a regular video chat to catch up with the things that we've been doing in the industry, things that I've been doing, things that Danny's been printing, and you get to be lucky enough to share this drivel. So without further ado, we will go straight over to you, Danielle, and ask you, you know, it's been a couple of weeks now. What have you been up to? Because I can see behind you
Oh, yeah,
You've had
empty space.
a bit of a tidy up. As your days of manual printing, have they gone in the bin?
Oh, 1,000% retired.
Yeah?
There's no, will I ever touch... Very unlikely that I'll touch a manual squeegee again, if I can help it. The press is actually tucked away in the corner.
Yeah, that
over here,
bike.
just behind that bike that's hanging off at the wall. Ready to go. It's live on eBay listed, and I'm hoping somebody will come snap it up.
So
get it-
before we
get
go
it out
any
of the air.
further with that, before we go any further with that, then I speak to a lot of people either, and I'm talking big companies with 4 or 5 automatic pressers that keep a manual.
Yeah.
What would be the reason you ever unpack that manual? Bear in mind, your average print job is what, 200 pieces and less average?
Yeah, that's fair.
Below 3 to 4 colours? Average.
Average, yeah, fair.
So
3 or 4.
about 4 colours, below 200 pieces, which would historically be perfect for a manual printer. What would make you pick up that squeegee and put a pallet on that and put an arm on that machine and background?
Debt collectors.
I waffled that long. You had that brewing in your head for a
Oh,
while, didn't you?
I knew it was coming. I thought, yeah, I've got the perfect answer here.
Because I still deal with big companies who keep a manual and they say it's imperative. We have to have a manual. We can't coat without a manual. The manual is part of our process. I can't remember last time.
I can get two reasons that I could keep it.
That's easy for you to say.
The two reasons I would keep it is overflow. If the auto, bear in mind I've only got one auto right now, and if it's better to get somebody stood on a press manually printing for me to up production, that'd be one reason. As a backup, if the auto's ever down for a period of time, at least I could run upstairs and do a little bit of printing on the manual. That'd be 2 good reasons to keep it. As far as production, I'm struggling to come up with any other pros of keeping it, honestly. I mean,
So if you had a 3-colour job come in, right? You got a 3-colour job come in. It has to be done. It's one of those. It's tight registration, base white, 2 colours on top. It's 100 pieces, and your compressor blows up.
Well, this is it. That's
Are
probably
you,
the reason.
Are you gonna go on to there straight away, or are you gonna ring the customer up and ask him if you can have 2 more days while the guy comes out to fix your compressor?
Well,
What's your first option?
I'm going to do that, and then if I'm going to do, I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask the customer, say, "Oh, can I?" I mean, typically, I work well within my margins. My margins of delivery, my turnaround predictions or estimations, leave me room anyway. I'm finally with the auto. I'm super on it with turnaround times. Most people are coming back to me saying, "Oh, I can't believe you got it out so quickly," on a regular basis, and I'm not.
Good.
I'm only in my rhythm. My production is, but they're expecting it, and that's good. So that buys me a bit of leeway. If I have to have a couple of days downtime, it's not in the world. To be fair, I'm well within my capacity for production at the moment. It's a quiet time of year. I guess maybe later down the line, if things get a bit tighter. That is a reason. And then I suppose if it come to it, it's been listed a while. I'm just getting low ball offers. And if it, people only want to give me a grand or two for it, then in that case, I've said, you know what, I might as well keep it.
Yeah, it's not costing you that to keep it, is it? In space?
No.
You can't bring your press upstairs. You can't
No.
bring your auto upstairs, so it's not.
No.
You're not actually losing anything, are you?
No, well, I would be losing the space, which would be valuable to me. So this space, I've got the best of intentions to clear that corner, get rid of the press, get it all down, strip it, floor it, and then we're going to get some new stuff up here. Garment finishing. There might be there might be another service I want to offer.
Okay.
And get this into a much more.
I didn't smell DTF there, did I?
No, you didn't.
All right, okay.
Backing up the wrong tree. But keep thinking along those lines.
Okay.
It's not DTG either. But anyway,
no.
That's
You have to say that, otherwise every DTG company and every DTF company is going to be knocking on your door. Danny,
I had Epson in my inbox 2 weeks ago. Like, have I got? I think a few. No, you haven't. You have not. I said something along the lines of, I'll be honest, in the immediate future, I've got zero interest in DTF or DTG. So,
yeah.
In fact,
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's cheating?
Do you know? Because I have a hard time selling DTF. Let me give you an example. Every single time a job comes to me and I think, it's too many colours for a certain amount of garments. It's an awkward placement or whatever. This job just so happened to tick the DTF job perfectly.
You sent me a copy of it, didn't you?
Well, this was a recent one. There was a recent job for a load of tote bags. It was a big, colourful, elaborate design. And typically you won't go all out on colours on a tote bag. 2 or 3 at most, typically, as a rule of thumb. But this was a full colour design. I can make it work. I am making it work with 6, actually. She's going to order it screen print. She was that adamant she did not want DTF. No matter how hard I stuck up for and defended DTF, I said, look, this really is the perfect solution for this print on those tote bags. Not having it. It's a sticker. What did she say? She said...
Plasticky. She said plasticky, didn't she?
She can't... Yeah, she said, I don't want that plasticky vinyl feel. And I said, honestly, it's come on a long way. God, I like Donald Trump. Come a long way. I'll be upsetting Ukrainians next. Oh, fucking hell, Tony.
Sorry. Fucking dog barking at me. I told you you'd be a knobhead, didn't I?
Oh, Christ.
Sorry.
Oh.
You were saying, Don. Go on.
So, yeah, look, just no matter how hard I pushed it onto her, she wasn't having it. And I've faced that opposition to DTF multiple times now. Pretty
from
much
customers.
Every time.
Not from you, from customers.
No, from customers. Every time I say, why don't we go down this route? Because sometimes a job comes in, I think, I could heat press that in an hour.
It could also be DTG'd that as well, you know what I mean? That would have been a great DTG job.
Yeah, it would be a DTG. I've not really got out against DTG. A good quality DTG looks shit up. That would have been an option. But she's really...
Could you have made money at it? Because you'd have had to pay someone to DTG it for you.
Well, it'd have cut... I'd have maybe stuck 50 quid, 100 quid if I were really lucky on job, and that'd have been my profit. When we're outsourcing, you're not making a ton of money off it. You're just sort of getting it out of your hands, but keeping that customer.
Providing a service, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's better to just, all right, I might make 50 quid on this job, but at least the customer's still in my inbox, and maybe next time I can actually make some money off of it.
It's true. There's many a true word. The cost of keeping a customer in your inbox. I never thought of wording it like that, but that's a great description.
Yeah.
Keeping a customer in your inbox. Sometimes it's that lost leader. Sometimes you're like,
Yeah.
I call it the embossing effect. I think I've told the
Right.
story before. My boss, when I was working down in Luton, came up with, we're going to do embossing. I'm like, well, I know nothing about it. I don't know. You've got to buy a machine. Okay, well, I get a machine from China, landed for about 3.5 pence. So let's do it. Okay.
Christ.
So I got into embossing, and we did the embossing. We got the plates, and we did a lot of work. We did a lot of samples, and he said, "What do you think?" I went, "Look, it's great. It looks fantastic, but God, it's labour intensive. There's no way you can make money at this." I don't care.
Yeah.
That's not what I've done it for. Hang on, why did you buy a machine, buy all the plates, all the liquid that goes with it? Why did you do all that if you don't want to make money at it? No, I'll never make money at it. But
Someone else will.
I'll use your description. He didn't say those words, but it keeps the customer in my inbox.
Yeah.
Because he'll go somewhere else that offers embossing and printing, and they'll do it. And then he'll think, well, why aren't I using those for printing if they said yes to this? And, And so even though he didn't make money at it, it provided a great service to that customer who kept them in their inbox. I'm going to keep using that. I quite like that.
Yeah. I had this conversation with my dad. I might as well let cat out of the bag. I'm getting embroidery, and I'll try to justify it to my dad. Not justify it like I have to justify it. I don't have to ask my dad's permission, but you know what I mean? Because he's
You do if it's his money.
No, it's not. It's all mine. I've earned it. Don't worry. I mean, I've not actually bought it yet, but it's.
You're thinking about it, yeah, okay.
I'm talking with Beruden about getting one, and I've got a quote and stuff, and I'm just like, it's coming, it's happening.
Yeah.
And it's one of those I can outsource me.
Top choice, by the way. Out of all the choices of machine manufacturer you could have had, that's the top
I could have had one for £5,000. 2 minutes away. There's a shop just gone bust. He's got a machine. Is it? It's. I can't remember the brand.
Midwest, Happy, Tajima, Melco.
Well, it's technically. He says it's a Tajima with a different badge on. So I'm like, yeah, right. That sounds dodgy.
Sounds like it's from Midwest.
Yeah, possibly. So anyway, it was like £5,000. It was a fraction. It was a third of what I'd be paying for a Bermuda. Yeah. Could have had it in my shop 2 days ago, but no. We're going to do like I did with Auto. We went for proper quality machine, quality first, and I think it'll pay off in the long run. Cost a bit more up front, but I'm sure it'll pay me back pretty shortly.
Okay, don't forget to ask our mate Liz for advice.
Yeah, well, I've had a word with Liz, and I will be taking full advantage of her services.
100%. I fully recommend her. She's been in the industry a long time. She knows what she's talking about, and she's not tied to a brand like myself. So.
Yeah, I mean, the big argument my dad was sort of saying was, yeah, but don't forget, whilst you're embroidering caps, that's taking you away from press, which is where you
need someone to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my argument will look, it's going to be there for some of the bread and butter work, some of the more complex, some of the bigger pieces, some stuff that I look at and go, this is a pain in the ass. I'll continue to outsource. But if more basic work that comes in every now and again, if I can do it in house. That's going to make me a bit more profit. But it gives me a bit of time to fully get up to scratch and learn it and enjoy the process.
So did you look at the numbers? Did you look at how much you spent on outsourcing?
Not really. I just fancied one and bought one. Got a quote.
that would have been a much more sensible decision to make. Because look at that. Look, I'm spending X amount of pounds now on outsourcing embroidery. It's time to bring it in. I'll give you an example. Someone at the print show stopped me and said, "Hey Tony, do you think it's time I started my own print shop?" Oh God, really? Currently you give work out, yeah. How much a year do you give out? Oh, about £800,000. Yeah, it's time. If they'd have said 8,000, be like, no, keep giving it out. You're not going to make that money back. Yeah. But at such a high level, it's like, yeah, actually, it's time. It was time about a year ago to think about 75% of that's profit that you can bring back in house.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you look at what you are spending on embroidery,
oh yeah, yeah.
right, and let's say it's 20 grand a year, then 75% of that's 15 grand is probably profit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now it's not 100% profit because you only earn when it's running, but
I pass on a bit of embroidery work every now and again. It's not going to be huge numbers, but it's also I don't advertise it. I don't do anything. There's nothing, and I'm sort of going on the lines of if I get this machine and start embroidering and start pushing it, then the sales will come. And to me, it's like you said earlier. If I get an email saying, "Oh, can I have 100 t-shirts and we want some beanie hats," and I go, "Oh, well, I can't really do beanie hats." Oh well, I'll go find a shop that does both at the same time.
Yeah, because I don't want to raise two invoices. Yeah, I want to give one invoice to you for everything.
Yeah, people like that ease, don't they? I just got a bug for it. I think I just talked to Liz, and then the more I started looking, and I just become real attracted to the idea of doing it all of a sudden. Even though I've been completely adamant that I wouldn't touch it. I want to specialise. I've been very firm on this specialising business model, for a lot of years. And it was like screen print. Nothing else can.
Do you know the main difference? You know the main difference between the ideology of that model and what you're trying to do now? It's a mortgage.
It's a fucking girlfriend.
You were living at home with your mum before. You could afford to be a specialist craftsman.
That's probably right, to be fair.
Now you've got to pay the bills.
Oh, you'd probably nail it, to be honest. There's been a shift this year, a bit of a realisation and a bit of a shift of attitudes. I think I could sum up last year, use the phrase marginal gains, but marginal gains very specifically involved with, that's a bingo dabber for you, Luke, very specifically print focused. How can I make the print better? How can I make production better? Anything in that area, I ticked a hell of a lot of boxes last year. I'm so chuffed with how the year progressed. And I didn't have to spend a big lump of money on one item to do it. I bought lots of little things. Squeegee cleaner, raising lifts for shirts and stuff like that. All sorts of things. Lots of little things.
It's the brushes and mops and bins that make a huge difference because you don't realise it that without them, nobody's using a bin.
Yeah, all of that added up. And I'm so happy and so comfy with where production is. What my production capacity is right now, I'm super happy with it. And I think even at the height of busy season, later on in the year, I think I'm well within a comfy zone of keeping up with it as it stands. And so this year I thought, I don't know if it was intentional, if it just sort of naturally happened. I got sat down after Christmas and started chipping away at jobs, very heavily focused on, I guess, sales, if you want to call it sales. Ultimately, at the end of the day, growing the business and sales. And what can happen through the years, I'll have a quiet period, and then I go, shit, I need to get more sales in. And then I have a reaction to that is, I become a salesman all of a sudden. But it's very short-sighted. It's always low-hanging fruit. What can I do to get some sales in there and then? Because my bank's draining. I need to get some money in quick. It's reactionary. Whereas I've started the year and I've continued it. Proactively working, but thinking very long-term.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing behind the scenes, I'm doing a hell of a lot of work. I'm probably going to need a laptop because I am burning that bugger out. Honest to God, Ailey is probably sick to death of me because she gets no attention. She doesn't see me but I'm so focused and determined to grow and build this business, and it needs to happen. So I'm doing a lot of long-term work. There's a lot of things I'm putting in place and I'm working on behind the scenes, which might not pay me back tomorrow, might not see an increase in sales next week, but over the course of a year, I know things is going to grow.
You got to trust the process, yeah, definitely. If you remember back to the discussions of should I buy an auto or not, one of the main tick boxes on buying the auto was not producing more work. It wasn't producing better work. The standards stayed the same. The standards always high, but it was about freeing Danny up to go do the sales and the
what a
and the
revelation.
proactive stuff. It was all about getting you some free time so that you could actually plan. Well, actually, if I look at my data, January's low, it peaks in March. So I don't need to do anything in March. As we get to June, when kids go on holiday, I always have a dip. So I'm going to have a dip this year. So if I put my plan into action in May, it should bear fruits in June, and off I go. But
what a revelation.
without removing you from having a squeegee in your hand, going like this, you could only react. You could only go, shit, I've got no work this week. I better put an advert on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly that.
So that's a benefit of having the auto.
It's so amazing that you said that, because it like literally just clicked in my head there, and then everything I set out to do when I got that auto has come to fruition. I had a year. I did have 1 year learning to print on an auto and improving in production and getting printing side sorted. Exactly a year, and then the whole purpose of it to free me up to work, and that's what I'm doing. How amazing is that? It never clicked, I never realised, but it's working bang on plan now that you put it like that.
That's good.
What a time to be alive, Tony.
Living the dream.
Yeah. So I'm chuffed to bits with that. That's really cool. I'm really happy. And
I think that's the best tangent we've ever gone on.
Yeah, do you enjoy that?
Yeah,
I feel super uplifted. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Oh dear. Yeah, we've done my portion of the episode. What do you know? How are you, Tony? Because we had a rocky start to the year. Let's be honest. But it seems you're back out on the road a little bit now.
I can't remember
I've
last
seen
episode
you in a
we
couple
did.
of shops.
I think the last episode we did, I'd have been to Stuttgart and we'd seen the robot. I think that was the last episode.
Did we talk about that?
Did we talk about the robot?
On that. Let's touch on the robot. We saw the robot. Did we touch on it? No, I'm doubting myself now.
I think we did. Yeah, I think we did. The automation thing is still huge in the forefront of my mind. The cost of labour. I've just done an article again because I'm writing again for Images. Basically, the price ceiling on what we produce hasn't moved as rapidly as the cost of what we produce.
Yeah.
So the labour, the energy, the space, all this has been going up at this exponential rate. But the price to the ceiling to which we can sell our product or our service has climbed at a much slower rate.
Yeah, that's very, very fair. I agree with that.
So therefore, we have to find ways to be more efficient. No, effective. I'm not going to say efficient. Effective. So we have to be cleverer with the pound or the dollar that we've got and spend it wisely. And if that means investing in a machine that will move something for us that we previously employed someone to move, then that has to be the solution. And only an hour ago, because I'm addicted to social media again, I have to stop. Just on a personal note, I have to stop my screen time. You've got this app, haven't you? You know, where you can put a time limit on it.
Yeah, and it tells you the time. Yeah.
It's
well,
scary.
I want to have a conversation about that. I've got a notepad with 3 notes on it, and social media is one of them. So
I'll put that tangent over there. We'll bring it back later. And while browsing, I saw that one of the major manufacturers has also made a shirt pulling machine.
So a couple of
which means that my interpretation of us needing mechanical assistance to do the job that we're doing on material handling,
validated.
It is starting to be validated, yeah. And I know M&R have made one for 20, 25 years. But until we make it intelligent, it will just be a credit note machine. It will just pull off credit notes off the press all day.
Yeah.
And so the push to make it intelligent, I think it's fantastic. But so that's where I was last time. I was in Stuttgart looking at that and absolutely enthralled with my vision of the next 10 years in screen printing, where one of those is on every press. I'll stand by that statement in 10 years' time.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. It has to be. And since raising the subject and speaking to people, Number one, only this morning, a major manufacturer has brought a rock pull out.
All right,
So
right.
that means there's a demand for it. But then
Yeah.
speaking to other people, it's already standard in the Far East.
Right, wow.
It's already standard. Now, they've been doing it for a long time. Now
And
they
you
can
can
afford
argue.
they can afford to have the dumb version and just have an intelligent person watching.
Keep an eye on it, yeah. I'm going to say their labour costs are.
Their labour costs are lower, but you can see that they've also seen the attractiveness of this. So yeah, so I was doing that. What else did I do? Then I went over to Netherlands.
Right.
I
Other
was in the
place.
Netherlands to see Pals, which is Anton Pals, a good old friend from years and years ago, and his son and daughter Baz and Rezi, who are running the screen print department.
No, it's a
And
family business. I like that.
yeah, I was really, really impressed. I mean, Anton's been around for donkey's years, 25, 30, 35 years, and he's sort of semi-retired. He still sits in the office and shouts at people, but I think that's just his way. And
I hope that's me in a few years.
yeah, well, I was impressed with Europe because in America, in England, there's a very negative downward feeling about the industry. It's quiet, it's dead, things are happening, it's bad, it's it's slow, people are fighting. And I dropped over to Northern Europe, and actually, that's not there. People are still quite positive.
Mm,
We visited a couple of shops, and they were sort of like, no, we're okay here. It's not crazy, but we're not worried. Everything's fine. Whereas you go into a
yeah,
shop in England, it's like, oh, it's looking a bit dire. Work's
yeah.
a bit thin. We'll have to do that. So whether that means our work's going to Europe or not, I don't know. I've never made that association before.
There is an industry where 1,000% there is the
Yeah,
music
because
industry, 1,000%.
it's hard to distribute in Europe now. It
Yeah,
really is.
it's
It's
absolute
not
nightmare.
expensive. It's difficult.
Mm.
Bureaucratic wise, it's hard to get stuff across that little 22-mile lap of water at Dover.
If I feel it, trying to ship a couple of boxes, what are these guys sending pallets out feeling? It must be a horrendous nightmare. And they're just
Yep.
choosing to get it done wherever they happen to be on tour.
Yeah.
So
And
that is
before
lost revenue.
it was much more cost effective and from a control point of view to centrally produce it and then distribute it. And that was
Yeah.
the model for 25, 30 years. It
Yeah.
worked fine because you had control over the quality of what you were producing, and then you just use DPD, FedEx, TNT. All these people would pick up from Scarborough
Easy.
and deliver in Dusseldorf tomorrow for £8 for a box.
Yeah, super easy. I mean, not
And what
quite a
paperwork
quick
did you have to do? You had to print the label out.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you could. I have filled that paperwork out, spent half an hour, ticked every single box, and I'm convinced I've got that perfect. And I've bent over and give the customs exactly what they want, and they still hold it for 6 weeks just because
Bent
they feel
over
like
and give
it.
them what they want.
Yeah, well, you do, don't you? This is what we're doing now. We're bending over to and ticking all the boxes that we want. And that one looks like an eye or whatever. But it just how sometimes your boxes of stock land in the customs depot and they go, "Oh, look at that, 6 weeks."
Yeah.
And you can't do
Manchester,
nothing
no.
about it. Not a
Nothing.
thing. Not
No,
a thing.
it's crazy right now. It's not effective at all. We voted for it, so what can we say? Yeah, we won't go political. But the general consensus in Europe is it's a lot more upbeat, a lot happier than what we are.
Hey, Tony.
What?
Do you know what happens when you vote Boris Johnson as Prime Minister?
What?
What happens to the country? It's Brexit.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't mean you would get that. If we've got any Yorkshire listeners, they'll understand, but
yeah.
everybody else is like, I won't fuck me.
So, moving swiftly on.
I might cut that out
Yeah.
a little bit daft.
No, it's fine. Leave it in. So, Europe seems a lot more upbeat. I was over there to see a large factory who wants to improve efficiencies. Obviously, all large factories do. And look at the practicalities of switching over to water-based things from plastisol.
Right.
Which is never as easy as like, right, on Friday we stop plastisol and on Monday we start water-based. It's never that easy. It's a long process. I always use the quote, I think it was Nike on the west coast of America somewhere, that allocated, they wanted to change from plastisol to water-based, that had a $2 million budget and a 2-year timescale.
Right. Oh, wow. Well, tells you all you need to know, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's not easy. Anyway, I digress. So over there to do that, and in the meantime, we saw two companies. We went to show two companies working with water-based things, which was Kadiko and Grumbass, which are two companies I've been to and consulted before. And you know, the feeling in those shops was really upbeat and really positive, and that's what sort of like gave me actually, it's not too bad over here. It's doing all right. So yeah, I spent a lot of time doing that, and then I went to go see an previous customer in Exeter, which is a long way from my house, Danny.
I bet it is. Yeah, it's like not far from London.
It's no, you go about another 2 feet, you get your feet wet.
Oh, is it that close to
yeah.
Cornwall?
It's Cornwall. It is Cornwall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So and it's 5 hours. So I mean, you know, I gave up my car.
I know. I keep forgetting. I forget about that.
I gave up my car in June.
Yeah. How are we finding that?
I thought I were doing all right, and I'd love to say it's for tree hugging environmental reasons. It's not. It's not. It's because the government deemed to think that having a nice car meant they could take more money off you. And I'm a true Yorkshireman. I don't like giving money away at all. and I am proper cutting my nose off to spite my face with this one. When the public transport system, that's trains or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't forget, aeroplanes are public transport.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So when that system works, I found it really beneficial. So down to Exeter was one change, 10 minutes in between. So walk off one train, get on another. Really, really simple. 4.5 hour journey. Sit with a beer and my laptop and just watch the world go by. And it took me right into the centre of where I wanted to be, where I could walk to the shop. So when it's like that, it actually works.
Yeah.
When some idiot decides to drive a car onto train tracks north of Manchester and stops every train from the world going into Manchester, then you're screwed. I would have willingly walked into a BMW showroom, paid cash for a car to get me home at 10:30 at night when the whole place has just come to a complete standstill. There's no buses because the bus rail is not working. There's no trains because somebody drove onto the track, and it's like, what am I supposed to do then? And the train companies go, we don't care.
No, I don't give a shit. I mean, it's a big active effort, isn't it, to get people using public transport over using their own vehicles. I think really because they want to keep everybody in the same place. But you're like, well, you want me to stop using my car more? But me and Ailey want to go to York for the day over that Sunday of the Sunday of printwear. Actually, we'd sort of thought about going, and then Ailey got a gig in York. And we were going to go on a bar crawl, and it was like the idea was Ailey would get some content, and we got a nice lovely day out, and they got a bit of
get pissed.
And we got pissed, and they got some marketing content, and we thought, well, we don't really want to, but like it'd be good for Ailey to get that bit more engagement and stuff. And well, let's just get a car, and then we can have a couple of drinks. Let's just get train, and we can have a couple of drinks to enjoy yourself. And we're like, from Brid to York, like 80 odd quid. And we're like.
They need to make it a lot cheaper. They need to make it a lot cheaper. So I'm flying to Portugal. No, I'm flying back from Portugal. £22.99. £22.99, right? And that's to fly from Portugal into London.
But you can't go from Brid to York for 80 quid.
Now, London to Wakefield, 80 quid.
Isn't it crazy?
How is that justifiable? 80 quid to get a train 2 hours from London to Wakefield, but I can actually fly for 3 hours, and it's £22.99.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, I had to sit on wing and hold on, but can't justify it.
You can't.
So yeah, I went down to go see Dan at Broadside. This was a strange one. So Dan had saved me a 7-colour water-based job on his 7-colour press.
Yeah, as people do.
and he'd saved it for 2 weeks until I could get there. He'd got some freshly new screens made because we were doing the whole 90s on top of a base white. We were doing Aquaflex, we were doing HP on top of Aquaflex. And we went through the whole process of what we were going to do. And I spent a long time working out the mesh counts, the blades, the angles, the pressures, the colour order. We spent a full day dissecting this job, which we would normally do in 10 minutes, but we went through every possible opportunity.
Yeah.
And I've done this a million times, Danny, and I'm 100% confident in what I advise will work.
Yeah.
But I'm also confident that, look, if it doesn't, we know the reason why and we can change it.
Yeah,
so we're still looking for problems. I was there for a day, and because of public transport, I actually had to catch the train at 5:30 up to Gatwick from Exeter. Right. So I was flying out the next day. So there's nothing I could do. I had to leave at 5 o'clock. And when I left at 5 o'clock, the job wasn't going well.
Right.
It wasn't running. It was picking off and ripping. It didn't look great. Nothing was really, although we'd gone through all the process.
Yeah.
It wasn't fantastic. Now, I didn't really know why until about 3 or 4 days later, and I got in touch with Dan, and I'm like, "How did it go? Was the job great? Send me a photo." I went, "No, it was shit."
Right.
Hang on. I spent all day sort of imbuing all my knowledge that I've got, which I know is right. It's not wrong. It made me question myself. I know that this is the right. I've done this in front of people. I've done it loads of times. So I know it works, but it didn't work in this instance. And we didn't know why. Maybe it was the garments. Maybe it was the ink. Maybe it was the environment. Maybe it was the position of Aquarius in Jupiter. I don't know what it was, but something didn't work. Anyway, we got brand new screens, and when he put a tension meter on them, they dropped down to 14.
Oh, bloody hell.
And they were 21 when we put them in.
What? So what's happened here then?
Well, without being...
Is it just a weak adhesive on the frame? It's just like...
Well, no, because the screens are top quality and they come from our mate. So,
should be fine.
You know, they were good, but there was no denying that the gauge read 14. So it's either the gauge or something's happened somewhere. And all they did was wash the screens in situ, because it's water-based, and then test them the next day. And the next day they dropped like 7 newtons.
Hang on. Overdrying them.
I hope not heat, but I told them not to touch any heat at all.
Because that's definitely screaming overuse of heat.
It is, but they were on the press, so there's no reason to.
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah, so you tested them on press and the tension were fine?
No, before they got to press.
Right.
And they were coated and made and everything, and then they get onto press.
Before they was
actually wrote
washed out.
It's got to the point where writing tensions on each frame from my last visit.
Yeah.
He realised that tension was important, so he's writing the tension on each frame as a matter of course. So he's getting, he's got a metric you can measure and use and putting like tensions together and removing ones that are bad. Yeah. So as even with 30, I keep forgetting how many times I've been doing this. You got somebody at the door?
No, I'm just writing something down. You carry on.
Right. How long have I been doing this? 1987. Is it really 40 years in 2 years' time?
1987?
Yeah.
That's not 40. I was born in 88. And I'm only 39. I'm joking. I'm 36, so it can't be 40.
Yeah, in 2 years. In 2 years' time, it'll be 40 years I've been doing this.
Yes, so but it isn't your 40 then, is it? Yes, I'm not 40. I'm not close to 40. Shut up.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that in more than 35 years, I begin to question what I've been doing over the last 35 years. If I can't solve a simple 7-colour job on sweatshirts using water-based ink, And it just goes to prove that, this industry sometimes this profession, not the industry, the job itself, sometimes there are some unknowns that we just can't quantify. We try and control everything, all the variables of tension, of emulsion thickness. And Dan's a stickler, He's one of these perfectionists. He's a bit like you, if it's not right, it goes in the bin. It start again. No, it doesn't matter about the cost. It's got to be right.
Yeah.
And it just it didn't work, and my email to him sort of like 3 days later, how did it do? Is it great? Show me a picture. I didn't see it on social media. He went, no, it's shit. Really? Yeah, the screens are shit. That's not right. Anyway, and I still haven't got to the bottom of it. Still don't know.
That's the mystery of it, isn't it? Because, if you tick all the fundamentals, etc., then you can sort of write them off. Difficult one, that.
Yeah.
You always have those days where you chuck something in a press and
but usually next day when you've had a chance to go home, drink some whiskey and cry. Next day you come in and you realise that, I was doing that. Look, yeah, I can see now.
Yeah,
couldn't
always.
see it when I was up to here. I couldn't see. All I could smell was shit.
Yeah.
Now it's drained a little bit. I can see it's not that bad. So yeah.
The amount of problems I have fixed where I've been banging my head against the wall all day, all night. I go home, I go to bed. Often I'll be like daydreaming through the night and I'll fix it in my head. Or at the very least, I'll wake up fresh and I'll go in and it'll work straight away.
Dreaming. At night, when you're dreaming at night, it's just dreaming.
Well, we're doing that night dreaming thing. What do we call it? It's a bit like daydreaming, but you do it in bed.
Night time.
Night time. Oh, God. Should have got school, shouldn't I, really?
I use for longer, yeah. I often use a phrase, and it's one I use not just in printing, but in life as well, and it's zoom out.
Yeah.
Just zoom out a little bit. Just step back and zoom out and have a look at it. And I almost want to, if Exeter was like a 5-minute bus ride away, I'd have gone back on my own time and gone, right, let's sort this out, because I don't feel like, we've solved the problem that we were supposed to solve. But it's not, it's 5 hours away, so I'm not.
Yeah. No.
It's not a way to anywhere either.
To be honest, though, if anybody had said to me, right, here's a press. It's a 12-colour press. I've got a 7-colour water-based job. I'm like, fuck that. I'm off. No thanks. I'm all right. I've given it a go, and I've made water-based work, and I've printed some nice stuff with water-based. But honestly, I've just not got the capacity for babysitting that amount of colours. It's just not. It don't work for me, and I would walk away from that job.
Well, the sample was plastisol as well.
Yeah, so just to be sure. So everything regs. There's no issues.
The sample was plastisol, so we were given this print to match to, which wasn't great. So we know we can do better than this, because we know we can get it sharper, especially putting the black underneath the other colours. It's going to make it a lot sharper.
Yeah.
So we knew that straight away. And then I looked at it, and it's on a pastel sweatshirt. There's no base, so it's raw plastisol flashed after every colour.
7-colour water based on fleece.
Yeah, on sleeves.
Oh, you're an idiot. Why did you go to that job?
He said, come down, I've got this one colour left chest to do.
On the inside as well, turned inside out. Honestly, Tony.
People save me their nightmare job. No, people save me their nightmare jobs.
I think you need to be pre-warned. You need to be like, can you please fill out this form and tell me exactly what job it is before I turn up?
One colour left chest, I'm in.
I'm in. I'll see you soon. I've got a tip for you.
Yeah, try a new squeegee blade. Right, I'm off.
Right. Have I told you about them 5 hills?
6 now. We're on 6 now.
Why is it 6?
So, yeah, that was my my basically time since we've done the last one was Exeter. I did the time at the show, and then I did over in Netherlands as well. So yeah, all in all, I've been busy. Back out travelling again, back out working again. So yeah, at least there's that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You seem in a better place, so that's all that matters really. And the print world is better for it.
Yeah, it was a kick in the teeth, not being able to go to places and do things. But it's just, it's one of them things, isn't it?
Just one of them things.
Where else did I go? I don't think I went anywhere else. No, I've
No.
been busy on the phone, getting stuff up and running. Picked up a job in Brazil.
Nice.
Yeah,
Does that not
so
technically count as the Americas? It's like South America.
continent-wide, yes. Country-wide, no.
Ah, well, that's good then.
So
Can you make
it's
it
on
in
the
November?
Why?
Think about it. What's on in November in Brazil?
I know. Mardi Gras.
Meow.
Oh, cats.
Yeah, cats. You know the show.
How did you know that were November?
Because it's always last week of the year. Oh, it's always used traditionally. It is, but nowadays it's like one of. But it's usually November time. Oh, my phone's ringing. 2 secs. Hello.
Yeah, so
Cut.
getting lots of inquiries, trying to build some work up. Got a job in Brazil, going over to Israel still on.
Israel, I didn't know this. Why do I not know this?
Israel, Maxi over in Israel, supposed
Why
to
have I not been
go.
informed?
You was supposed to go last year, if you remember, and it got
Yeah,
cancelled
there was a lot of trouble.
when they started to throw bombs at each other. That's still on. He's a tourist printer. So, therefore, if he's busy, that means there are tourists there. If there are tourists there, the situation's changed. It's a lot safer. In fact, I asked him because my mum's worried. So I asked him. So my mum says, is it safe? He says, well, it's a lot safer than going to the States, Tony. Let's put it that way. I'm like, oh, right, okay.
Oh, well. Well, that's good news then, isn't it? That's good to know.
So, so I've still got a few bits and pieces to do. April, what we're in March, I'm quiet for the next 2 weeks, which I'm all right with because I've got lots of shit to do. I'm reapplying for a visa. I've got that appointment, but it's not until June, so that's a long time away. Well, things are looking sort of on the up a little bit. We'll just gotta keep plodding away. We've got Vespa in May.
How are you feeling about it? First of all, have you been asked to go to work?
No.
Or are you just thinking visiting?
I've not been asked to go and work because who I normally go work for, which is MHM, is not. I don't think there's going to be a machine presence there.
No.
I'm sure you've seen the announcements that have been made. It's been taken over. It's been bought. It's now called MHM Industries, and it's currently being the factory's relocating about 10 miles down the road to an existing machine manufacturing place. So
it sounds a lot more positive than it had.
It's a lot more positive. I mean, my only bugbear is nobody says anything. Even if it's bad news, tell us. Be transparent.
Yeah, you want transparent.
Be transparent. Get whoever the guy is at the top of MHM, whether it's a top sales guy, whether it's a representative, stick him on Instagram or Facebook once a week to say, right, this is what we're doing this week. It looks like this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. But bear with us. Everything's great. Every Friday, give us a little update. But instead, there are so many rumours flying around. I've heard so many rumours that. A guy rang me up. He said, "Oh, what's happening with MHM? I hear they're making everything in Vietnam now." What? No, it's bullshit. Well, no, somebody told me that the machines are all made in Vietnam now. No, it's just rumour mill.
Silence leaves a big hole to be filled.
Silence leaves a big hole. You're right. Yeah, and then people start to make their own. People start to make their own stories up then. So it seems a little bit more optimistic, let's say. So that's a good news to have. I don't think it'll happen very quickly, but at least it's happening.
It won't happen quickly, but it's positive news, and we need it to go well. Really, there's a hell of a lot of MHM printers who are invested in the system. It's not you don't buy an MHM press and then go, oh well, I'll just get another different whatever happens to be kicking about. I'll get no. You invest in the entire system, and it becomes part of your process. Embedded.
I saw an Instagram post by the Rock people, which basically was pushing the fast, accurate registration system.
Is it two at top, one at bottom? Or I think that might be the new M&R.
No, it's always been that. It's a tri-lock. It's always been 3-point system. Right. And 3-point system, somebody put a comment. Mathematically, it has to work. And they're absolutely correct. Mathematically, it has to work. But the main downside of any tri-lock system, or any system that uses the frame as a reference point, that's the big...
change. Yeah.
Well, they're not manufactured to a high tolerance. Why would they be? Their only job is to be of rectangular shape, glued around the edges and hold the screen. That's their only task. Their task is not to be straight and square. Their task is not to be manufactured within 0.2 mil. Their task is to hold the mesh. That's their only job, which means we can make them.
Time to get up.
No. That was a DTG salesman.
Oh, nice. Epson, we do not want your wares. Sorry.
No, the biggest one.
Calm it, brother. Calm it.
So, yeah, it's... I forgot my train of thought. Yeah, registration system. I've looked at other systems. I've looked at other machines, right? Okay, and I've looked in depth at 2 or 3 different manufacturers, and they all use this tri-lock system. And whenever you use a system where there isn't an external measured point of reference off the frame, you're going to get, at best, 75% accuracy.
Yeah.
And that's not me running another system down, by the way. The system works.
No,
if you're going from film to tri-lock, you're going to improve your registration by a factor of about 3, which is superb. Yeah, going from manually lining up and hitting with a hammer to everything being within a squeak, superb. But to say that it's 100% mathematically perfect is not quite true.
And you know, you probably summed this up really well by the bloke on your chest, Bryce at Merch Shops. They've had all this big brand, and they swear by the MHM
Both of them,
registration
them and Rock, and they've gone straight, and they swear
the
by
big
it.
3. And
but do you know what? And this is something that they do really well that others miss out on. Again, yesterday I was speaking to someone who wants to know what the Sherlock frames are like.
Someone's got a lot of them for sale.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've roller frames, actually, sorry.
Roller frames, no. Fuck that, no. I mean, they're all right if you've got someone in the middle you can pay 30 grand a year to look after them. But the Sherlock frames are capable of high tension. They're relatively easy to re-stretch.
The Sherlock frames are the ones with the strips where you
you go like in. That. Yeah, clamp it in on 4 sides. It clicks in, and it's 40 newtons easy. Between 30 and 40 newtons.
I'm quite attracted by that system because I quite like the idea of it. You almost got reusable mesh. You use them a few times, chuck it in bin, chuck one on. But does it work in practice?
I like the idea. Oh no, it's absolutely 100% effective, especially in areas where we're spoilt in England. Nowhere's more than a day's travel. Yes, so if I want to pick something up, it's not overly expensive to pick a pallet frames up and get them back in 3 or 4 days.
What, even if it's in Exeter?
Yeah, even if it's in Exeter. Because we've got transport hubs all over the place. You know, DPD will pick something up and overnight it to anywhere.
Yeah, true.
In some places in the States, you know, the stretching company's in another state. So it's a 10-day turnaround and 400 quid to pick up a pallet, in which case you're like, are the frames really that much? When I first started going to America and I'd go around the back of a print shop and, you know, back of a print shop's horrible. There's always a skip full of toxic waste and there's you know, old hopes and dreams being left to die. And then there's this big pile of aluminium frames.
Yeah. I've got a stack now. Yeah.
And where we stack them, knowing we're going to re-stretch them, they stack them for the scrap man.
Yeah. Right.
But like they're not, the value is not worth paying someone to pick them up and transport them across country to bring them back 10 days later and charge me 400 quid for it. Might as well buy new ones.
Yeah. I've got a bit of a dilemma. I've got a mountain of frames all pinned. So I can't sell them or give them away to anybody else unless we've got MHM. All pinned. But they're the standard size frames. Whereas
you can sell them to someone else, and you can give them to anybody.
MHM, I guess.
No, take the pins off.
Yeah, but then you end up with holes, and when you're washing, it's full of water.
That's their problem.
All right, Tony. Well argued. But
And
anyway.
studs are £1 each, mate. They're £4 a frame.
Oh, well, I reuse the studs. I'll take them buggers off, don't worry. But for the standard size where I've been getting extended to get that 18-inch print, and I'm going them all stacked there, and I'm thinking, do I send them to get remeshed? Or do I just start buying every frame to be bigger to build that up so that all my frames are standard bigger? And it's an expensive cost, but...
So can you get them next to each other in your press?
Oh, yeah. No bother.
So you've got 33-inch long frames?
I'm going to guess so, yeah. That number rings a
normally
bell, but basically...
It's normally 31. It's normally 23 by 31.
Yeah, that sounds right. So I've got 33 long frames, so basically I can get an 18-inch print.
Okay. But you still only got the... Yeah, because normally it's
that extra 2 inches makes all the difference.
21 by 30.
Something else there.
Both of them. Yeah, so you've got an extra 2 inch on the end of your thin screens, so you can get them in an X type, which is the smallest machine without the backs touching.
Yeah.
And you can not easily, you can get an 18-inch long print.
I've been 18-inch long prints all the time, full colour as well.
Yeah,
6 colours, 18-inch, no bother. Totally fine. You just give yourself that extra room because you could actually, if you really wanted to print 18-inch on a standard screen, but you have to make your angle
10 degrees. Yeah,
and if you're printing colours, so if you're doing a white print, you'll get it. But that extra 2 inches gives the room for the ink and stuff behind it, and it prints fine. You're not clanging into it back or like that.
So guaranteed satisfaction with that extra 2 inches.
Always. Never had any complaints. Right,
so I don't know where we were. I don't know what tangent we were on, so I'm going to stop talking and let you pick your notebook up.
Well, we're nearly done an hour, so let's have one last topic. Now, which topic? I've got 3 topics. I don't know which is
let's
most
do some
relevant.
more. Let's do a longer episode. It's fine. I've got no to do.
All right.
You're all right, busy.
I wish that were true.
We go on bus. And you got Annie in today?
No, Annie does Monday, Tuesdays, Fridays. So Wednesday, Thursday is always good for a podcast. FYI. Apart from next Wednesday, because my bathroom's coming. Well, actually, next Wednesday will be good because I'm working from home, so...
Thought it were coming last Wednesday.
That's half of it's come, but the bath and the sink is coming next Wednesday.
Have you run out of money yet?
Don't have any money to fucking begin with, Tony.
It's great having an house, isn't it? But you just keep throwing money into it.
Yeah, but it comes back, doesn't it? I look at it that way. It's an investment, isn't it?
It doesn't. I'm sat in this house that I bought 30 years ago, and it's not coming back to me yet.
Well, this is sort of a flaw in my plan. If it were up to me, we'd be moving back to Brid next week. I'll be honest. But it's up to Hayley. She's got long-term visions of building a loft extension and chuffing everything else and having a family in here a lot.
Helicopter pad.
And I'm just thinking, I just want to live by sea. So, but anyway, that's a whole other topic. I've got 3 topics.
Go on, hit your first one.
Social media. Are you over
Okay.
it? Are you done with it? How do you feel about social media? I'm kind of over it and done with it. I'm totally over the whole... What works now? What's engaging content? What gets you clicks and what gets you comments and views and stuff? And it's all reels now. It's all voiceovers and you have to do quirky little... I just don't like it. It feels real plastic and naff. I'm really over it.
I think it got more professional or commercial. I used to... I love social media, right? Okay, and I live and die by it.
Yeah.
It is my entire business. Without social media, I would not exist.
Yeah.
I still go back to the reel that got me close to 1 million views was really the start of my journey.
Right.
And even going through with your advice of removing inactive followers.
Yeah, yeah.
It still naturally came back up to where it was at that point.
That's good, but those replacement followers actually want to engage.
Are active and engaging.
Ghost followers. Much like
yeah.
ghost poos. But ghost followers.
Episode 8, classic.
It will, yeah. Bingo dabber. There's a dabber for you, though.
Yeah, that emoji in that title just makes me laugh. Yeah, social media for me is a revenue stream or an advertising platform that I cannot replace. It's free. It costs me my time, but I'm willing to give that because the payback I get converts into sales.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I'm not selling a product. I'm the product.
Mm.
So I have to be visible. If I'm not visible, it's like you saying you're a printer but not telling anybody what you print.
If I look at my engagement and the people who are commenting, the people who are liking, the people who are in my inboxes, it's all other printers. So in your case, if I was a consultant, I'd be buzzing. I'd love social media because it's working a treat. If I were a consultant, it'd be an absolute treat right now. But when I look at the number of people who are customers who are actually engaging, customers typically find me, follow me, email me for what they want, and then talk to me through email, and then never engage with me very much on Instagram ever again. Very little. Maybe that's a downfall on my part. Maybe I just don't play along with the algorithm and make the effort that I should. Well,
it's time.
I don't actually, to be fair.
It's time. It costs you time. Now, luckily, I have time because you have to be creative and think about some content that you can put out there that will generate you sales at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Not just interest, but you want to turn that interest into sales. Now, me doing my job is me getting on a train, going to a place, and it's a place that you've never seen on my feed before.
Yeah, so it's unique every time.
So it's unique. So it's an insight into somebody else's shop that if they're not following that shop, they've never seen. And then the very next day, I go to another shop and do the same thing again and look inside somebody else's shop. So for me, social media is essential in that it feeds into the, and I'm sure there's a better word than this, but the nosiness. The inquisitiveness, the nosiness, the general sort of inquisitive nature that people have of, how does Danny do it? You know, what does he do?
Yeah.
Whereas if you just saw pictures of your print, you're basically advertising your customers to other printers who could pick up the phone and say, look, I've seen you get some work done at Danny's and we can do it better.
Oh, I'm sure it's happened in the past. It's, the whole thing's a bit... I think disillusion's a good word with it. And I think it's that.
Plus, we're getting older. It's hard.
I'm definitely becoming an old man about it. That's definitely a thing.
It's hard to keep up with what's relevant, what's not, what's offensive. Because what I find funny and relevant, a lot of people find offensive.
It's offensive nowadays.
And I can't put it on. So, you know, I've got to be careful on that. But, you know, I was speaking to someone last night from Canada, and they got my Instagram from Monster Press.
Nice.
So they've got in touch with Monster Press and said, hey, I wonder if you could tell us how we can do this job. And Monster, bless them, Will and Ziggy, hats off to them, have said, you need to speak to Tony.
Yeah, that's
drop him a DM. And so, you know, for me, social media it's not an option. It has to happen.
It's not an option.
Now, the other side of that is I've had quite a lot of time on my hands since they've made America great again.
Going well, isn't it? That?
So
how's that working out?
I've been a consumer of social media.
Right.
My God, it's a hard habit to kick.
Oh,
I've got the next 2 weeks, and I can easily spend 4 hours just doom scrolling.
Oh, yeah. Don't download TikTok, whatever you do, because that will absolutely consume you.
I don't know if you know, I've never had Facebook.
Right, all right.
I kicked off Facebook. I joined Facebook. I always remember. Somebody told me about Facebook when it first came out. When we called it the Facebook.
The Facebook. You got the Facebook yet?
The Facebook, yeah. And we used to throw sheep at people and poke people.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
yeah.
and Friends Reunited were much better. But Facebook were
Right.
coming along. Do you
That's
remember
wild.
Friends Reunited? I am old, yeah. I am old, mate, yeah. I can remember going on internet and having to come off internet because your mum needs to make a phone call.
Oh, yeah, to be fair, I remember them days.
So, I don't know how we're going with that. So, I was on Facebook and I convinced all my friends group to be on Facebook. And then I have kids and they're like 12, 13-year-old and they're on Facebook and it's great and everything's superb. And then one day, somebody sent me, or my feed was full of pornographic images of a friend or an associate of my daughter.
Oh, great.
And I was like, that's got to go. And I deleted it. And I said, that's it. If that's what social media is, I don't want anything to do with that. And I had 2 Facebook accounts.
Right.
So I had one for normal, and then there was some games that you could play, like Mafia Wars.
Yeah.
Mafia Wars. And
Little
I used to
addictive
love playing these addictive games. But the problem was, if you played them, like the Candy Crush before Candy Crush, if you played them, it said maybe your friends are interested. So all my friends were getting bombarded with all my
I remember
Mafia
those
Wars
days.
stuff.
Oh, it was irritating.
So I created a separate account, which was just my game playing account, and then I had my family account. And when I got that sort of that offensive feed before any filters came in, it was just like, I don't want this. This is not for me. I deleted it.
Yeah.
It was about 2010, maybe 2007. So a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I've never been back on it since.
Yeah.
Now,
Not missing out.
well, no, I don't think I am. I've got no desire to go back on Facebook. However, this is the killer. Instagram. Love Instagram. Started off as pictures of my dog. I don't own a camera. I only have an iPhone. And here's are pictures of my Klinger Spaniel. And it was all about that. And I got into groups who also had dogs. And we shared pictures of dogs. And it was the saddest thing in the world. But there was no text.
Whitfield Doggers.
Yeah. That was my secret one. It was basically people with a shared interest showing photos, no text, no reels, no nothing. It was just somewhere to post your pictures that you thought were good because you thought you were the next David Bailey. Then I started running and doing the same thing there. And then when I started this whole consultancy thing, I thought, maybe I can, because I was palm print then as well. So I was palm print when I was just showing pictures of my dog.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't become palm print when I did this. And then if you do scroll back long enough down my feed, you'll find pictures of the dog and running. Yeah. And I basically got onto this. Actually, people want to see this, what I do and how I go to places and what I'm doing. People are people are interested. Yeah. I can't believe it. And I started to post there. And recently, I wanted to start to share more stuff. So Instagram asks me if I want to share to Facebook. Yeah, sure. You don't have an account. Oh, right. Well, I can't share to Facebook if I don't have an account. I've got a Meta account with Instagram. Surely I can do that. No, can't do that. So I thought about it for about 2-3 years. And I kept coming up with a share to Facebook. Can't, because I don't have Facebook. All right, okay. But can I post on Facebook as palm print? No, because you don't have Facebook. I've got a Meta. It's all the same? No. And then my website also wants me to populate from my social feeds now. So my website can be linked to my Instagram feed, and there could be a little carousel at the bottom of my website which changes daily according to my updates on my social. So it's great.
Yeah,
I only have to place it in, change one thing, and it appears across my website.
Yeah.
Right, I'll do that. Go through everything. Right. Link your Instagram account. Click. Have you got a Facebook account? No. You asked me to link Instagram. Yeah, you need a Facebook account. So I can't do it at all? No. Unless you have a Facebook account, you cannot go any further than where you are now in your automation or sharing. So I got Michelle. I said, Michelle, you've got Facebook. Yeah, she's always on it. Right, okay. Make me a page for Palm Print. And you look at it, you run it, you answer any DMs, pass them to me. I don't want it. So you do it. And we did this for about a year. And she's like, do I have to do this anymore? Is anybody interested? No, nobody looks at it. Oh, right, okay. I go back to my website again. Can I link my page, my Instagram to Michelle's page that she's created for me? No, because I'm not an admin.
Because it's not yours.
Because it's not mine. So I said to Michelle, can you make me an admin? Yeah, you have to have Facebook though. Oh. So I've got Facebook. I've created Facebook.
Right.
But I refuse to download the app to my phone.
Oh yeah, just waste of time. Don't bother.
So
I don't think it's.
I have to have it though. So you're tied in. You have to have it.
Yeah, I'd be quite happy to delete mine and stuff. I actually don't know how it happened, but my flipping sweet business page on Facebook, somehow I lost access. I lost admin rights to my own business. So there's a page on Facebook that exists, and so I don't know if stuff gets posted on it or not or whatever, but whatever it is, I can't get in and change it. I can't update my times. I can't change the text. I can't post new things on it. So it's just floating about in distance. If people are on it, I don't have a bloody clue. So I just left it behind and just said I've had enough of it. But anyway, the social media thing, I think, how can I sum it up? I think I've just got a bit of a chip on my shoulder about social media, and it comes from a place of, I think, it's not everything. I feel like a lot of people now, I'm going to start a business. What do I need to do? Wow, I need an Instagram. Right, that's it. Marketing done. I know the guys before social media didn't do that. There were ways to market. There were sales channels. There are lots of different things we can do to bring business in. And I just feel like is that something that's neglected? Everybody's just, right, well, you just need social media, don't you? You just do Instagram. You just do Instagram, you do YouTube, and that's your marketing. So for me, I think, like, let's just concentrate on everything else. The stuff the older guys used to do, or the other things that we can do.
Print some pamphlets.
Put some flyers with people's doors.
Print some pamphlets and distribute them with weekly newspaper.
Well, maybe not that, but there's lots of things, isn't there? There's lots of things we can do, and so I guess that's where it's coming from. And maybe there's a little bit of bias where I'm trying to justify and argue to myself that it isn't the be all and end all, and actually concentrating on everything else could be quite beneficial and powerful. Yeah, because most people literally just, I've got a business and I've got an Instagram, and that's it. Efforts. That's where it goes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have success with that, but
I'd like to be the sort of person that earned money from Instagram. I need to know that secret. How do you earn money from only post? Indirectly. I mean, directly. There are people who make money for creating posts, and I'd like to know how that works. But I think I might be just.
God damn it, tits. To be honest, Tony. To be fair, you'll be all right. You ticked that box, Tony. Halfway there.
I'll jiggle them for you, don't worry. My dancing skills are not great, but I will jiggle them for you. I can make one go in that direction and one go in that direction. So, yeah, I've got a talent.
You make them clap. When you walk dog, you thought you've got a round of applause, don't you?
I don't leave any footprints when I'm on beach, put it that way.
No.
So I think maybe we might be a bit too old for it as well. There is that
an age factor coming in here.
I think so. The people coming onto Instagram now, they're a lot more intelligent. They're not as easily pleased as we were. We're like, oh look, a funny cat, and we were like watching that for 6 hours. Now it's a bit different now.
Maybe there's an argument there that I'm just getting a bit old and grumpy, and maybe that side of things should be left to somebody else.
You were always old and grumpy. You're just now admitting it.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
But the other side, the flip side of that is, I've got a lot of time on my hands, and I can eat time just looking at it.
Yeah.
And it's replaced TV. Whereas I might binge watch some TV. Actually, I'm not a binge watcher, but you'd watch TV, or you'd have TV on in the background or something. But you can't have social media on in the background.
No, you have to be actively scrolling away, don't you?
So it's at the cost of something else.
Yeah.
3 hours will disappear
It does.
in my life, and I'm like, what have I done? I've just looked at funny cat videos, and I'm like, that can't be right. It's stopping me doing other stuff. I've got to get a grip of it myself personally. I've got to put a time limit on my social media use. There's an app on your phone, on an iPhone, where no, not just tells you. You can limit it.
Yeah.
So I can tell it, right, don't let me spend more than 2 hours on Instagram. However, it just requires a code to override. I just override it.
I know. I think I did have that one set, and then every time, I think probably for 2 days I stuck to it, and then I thought, extend it. Or just turn the setting off.
Yeah, because you've got the code.
Really a deterrent, is it? So
no.
Maybe what you do is you give the phone to Shell and say, right, put a random code in there, then give you it back.
Give my phone to Shell?
Well,
are you crazy?
What's this Wakefield Doggers, Tony?
It's a while ago. So social media, it has a place. Is it getting less? No, I think it's getting more. I think people, I didn't used to go on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, a lot. It's just sort of like, I would say I probably did maybe an hour a week on Twitter when it was. Now it's X. I bet I'm 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? What am I? And I complain about, if you watch a certain news channel, you get a certain person who owns that news channel's point of view. And if you watch this news channel, you get that person's who owns the news channel's point of view. And yet here I am watching only one channel, and I'm getting that person's point of view, and it's encouraging my point of view. So if I look for a good 5 minutes at funny cat videos, my stream is full of funny cat videos.
Yeah.
And so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It just keeps giving you more of what it thinks you want. Yeah. Heaven forbid you do hover over Wakefield Doggers Society.
That's all you'll see afterwards.
Then all you'll see is pictures of me going.
Honestly, Shell. Honestly, that's how it worked. I just saw it once. I didn't engage with it at all. Anyway, yeah, I just think maybe social media. Yeah, it's growing. It's getting bigger. Obviously, it's pretty massive. Couldn't get much bigger, could it? Maybe it's getting harder. Maybe there's a bit of that.
I think it's getting more difficult. I think it's getting more difficult to crack. It used to be easy to crack, and it's not now.
It used to be very easy. I did crack it at one point. There was a period where I was like, I am absolutely destroying this. I'm really happy with this. I had a massive growth. I had what did I get up to? I got up to 27,000 followers. And then almost overnight, they changed the algorithm to engagement as a percentage. And it just went...
That's
absolutely
just people
died.
Buying followers. Unscrupulous people were buying followers, weren't they?
Well, I think that's part of it, but I think once the algorithms switched to engagement as a percentage, it was no longer about how many followers you've got. Because at one point, the amount of followers you've got, if you've got lots and lots of followers, and you post at a certain time of day, a large percentage, if they happen to be on the phone, will see it. So it was just a numbers game. That's all it was. It was a numbers game. And I took advantage of that, and I followed and followed and followed. And I followed and followed and followed. And then a handful of those people followed me back. And then I followed some more people. And you just like keep following. And it just grew naturally like that. And then as soon as that switch happened with algorithm, you're like, you've got 27,000 followers.
Nobody
actually
speaks
only
to you.
only 1,000 of them want to actually click and look at your stuff. We're not showing you to anybody. So it absolutely penalised me overnight from success to... And I had to spend... It's happened over years, unfollowing people to get that percentage back down to bring the engagement back up. And it will probably always a losing battle, which I never ever got on top of. And it's all right-ish now. It's not amazing. Maybe that sort of skews me opinion and vision of it, of social media. Because I'm pissing it wind as it is. So, but then again, I've had new accounts, I've had new accounts and have a much better, not really. But anyway, social media, we've done with it. I'm old and grumpy about it. Leave it for kids.
Leave it for kids, that's what I say.
That's what I say. Leave it for kids. Right, Steam. What do you feel about Steam?
Well, I think electricity's come a long way, and we should stick with it. I don't think steam's going to be.
So I think if you go to an embroidery shop, you'll see steam used quite often. A lot of them have professional.
It's essential. It's not an option.
Yeah, professional industrial steamers. And if you go to a print shop, you'll rarely see it. And the reason it's come about, I bought myself a big industrial steamer because I was getting press marks.
Is it a Jiffy?
A Jiffy?
Yeah, they're the top brand of industrial steamers. No.
No.
But you that keeps posting me that. Usually the brand is Jiffy normally, the industrial steamers that are really robust that you find in embroidery shops.
It's Chinese. It's not flash. It's expensive, but it's not like a top end. It's good though. Good bit of kit. And it was just a bit of a get out of jail. Marks. Yeah, it was a get out of jail free card. If I happen to have press marks that were a bit excessive, at least I've always got that option to steam them out. Really, I want to fix that issue. I don't just want to put a bandage over it every time. It eats up too much time. Knock on my door. 2 seconds. So yeah, I don't want to make it standard. I don't want to be steaming all my t-shirts every time. I need to solve the press marks issue. But it's there as a backup if I don't fix it.
Mm.
But it got me thinking, what if got your tunnel dryer and then over the exit belt you had a big bar pumping steam down. So as the shirts came out, they're getting steamed as they come out. So
it's a great idea, and the dryers do exist. It's how we used to do discharge in the early days, and it's how they do discharge on rotary printers now. So, the rotary printers in the very early days, that's how they got their soft furnishings printed with discharge ink, which is where it originated in the very early days. And these dryers were like Z belts. So right. They'd go through a steam chamber. Right. And it would be at least 100 foot long of actual exposure to steam in a long Z.
So the hot steam caused a discharge reaction?
Yes, that's how discharge worked in the early days. It had to have exceptionally high pressure and temperature forced into it.
Right. Oh, wow.
So it was a steam dryer rather than a heat dryer.
They came out absolutely soaking, didn't they?
No, they weren't too bad at all. No.
Right.
I mean, we're talking 100 foot, steam, press, cool, the whole thing. And so, they do exist. The problem is getting the steam injected into the fibres to rearrange them because they've been squashed down. It's called a hoop burn, or we call it a press mark because it happens on press. In embroidery, it's a hoop burn or a hoop mark or a ring mark, and it's from compressing the fibres under tension. So it's using pressure. So we basically formed the fibres into a pattern. Now, we need to then relax those fibres back into their normal pattern. And so we either use steam or a chemical. This is what fabric conditioner does. Fabric conditioner relaxes the fibres back up to this point.
I had a bad experience with it. It was working really well for me, and then I stopped using it because it bleached.
Oh, the fabric conditioner. Oh, dear.
It was working a treat. I used it on quite a few jobs, and it almost become a mandatory where I was like printing. And as I was chucking them on dryer, I'd like, quick spray. And then they were going through with this fabric conditioner, curing.
Which creates a steam.
And softening at the same time.
Yeah.
Then I had
all it does is it relaxes the fibres back up to where they should be. Because we squashed them down like that and we can see the mark. Yeah. And so anything that releases them, like steam, is great. But we've got to inject that steam right into those fibres. It's no good just putting a bit of steam on the top. And then it's got to be, which means that your steam valve, if you like, or your steam point, like when you do your Jiffy, you're almost touching it. Yeah, you're really close. Well, it's hard to get that contact with a tunnel dryer, and you'd have to have high pressure steam. High pressure steam's fucking dangerous, and you wouldn't want it anywhere in your shop. So yeah, the idea's there. The idea's great.
Just in
You know,
practice,
and
it don't quite work.
if you had a 4 meter dryer, a much better option would be to just spray it. Have a little sprayer along the
As it
front
goes.
and just getting it wet so that the steam actually came out as it came out.
Just plain old water.
Just plain old water, yeah. I know people who have a plant sprayer full of water, not fabric
Yeah,
conditioner.
well, that's what
just
I was
water.
doing.
Yeah.
I was doing, but I had like a tiniest drop of conditioner in fabric softener, unscented fabric softener, tiniest drop in a spray bottle.
That works. That's what I'd do. I've never heard of it bleaching.
I just had one bad experience, and it was a blue hoodie. It was Earth Positive hoodie. Maybe it was something to do with being organic cotton, and it almost burnt it blue. Burnt it like a well, it looked like a scorch mark. It left scorch marks almost. So whether plain water would do just as good a job and not risk any damage, I don't know. Maybe I should try it. But
People have been steaming embroidery for years. It's standard practice.
Yeah, but we don't see it in print shops so often.
No.
But I mean, another argument to that as well is, God, they look fantastic when they've been steamed. I did 100 shirts yesterday, and like I say, I don't want to be doing this all the time. But it was just one of those jobs.
It costs labour. It's labour intensive, isn't it?
Too expensive to do. Too expensive.
In fact, if you're selling time, not T-shirts, then you could argue that the cost of steaming costs you more time, so therefore it should cost more to steam the product than print the product.
Oh, yeah,
if you can print one every 8 seconds, but you're spending 25 seconds steaming, then really the cost of steaming should be 3 times your print cost.
Yeah, definitely. But I can't help but seeing the results think, God, I wish we could automate this. I wish this could be something in the process. I wish it could go through the dryer and come out steamed. Because it looks fantastic.
I'm always obsessed with commercial laundries.
Right, yeah.
You know, commercial laundry.
Yeah.
Where there's like a top mannequin and somebody just puts the shirt on and then high pressure steam comes out of it and it's done. I'd love to see that sort of thing. Not prisoner cell block H, what sort of thing, where you steam it with that steam clamp, but with like a mannequin with steam valves in it. You take the shirt off, put it on the mannequin, it goes, and then it's all perfectly done.
Oh, I've never seen that. I need to have a look into that. It's not sensible. It's not practical. You've got the numbers will not add up, will they, at the end of the day? But it's a nice idea, isn't it?
You say it's not practical, and I made this argument. I probably had a couple of beers when I commented on something on a post I put. Yes, it was the PMI gel. You know, the PMI palette gel. And I took a video of somebody cleaning it, and somebody posted, well, it takes too much goddamn time, does that? I can't see how you can make any money doing that. It takes too much time. And I just went, well, these people actually charge what they think their print's worth. So there is no, I can't afford to do that. If you're selling the product, if I said to you, because we're doing stuff now at the end of the process. Let's say the process was invented in the 60s, 60s to 70s, this automatic high production customization. We were just completely reproducing.
Yeah.
If I said to you that, right, okay, I've got a machine here and it'll gain you a tenner every 3.5 seconds by printing, you'd be like, I've got to get some of that. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be great. And so if you had to steam every garment, if you had to have 6 people on it, if you had to buy the best products to put onto it, it's not a problem because there's loads of profit in this.
Yeah.
Now you fast forward 50 years and all of a sudden, well, actually, that same 3.5 seconds now, you can only sell that for 10 pence. Hang on, I used to sell it for a tenner. I used to sell it for 10 whole pounds. Now I can only sell it for 10 pence. But I'll have to take somebody out of the process. I'll have to take a person out of the process. I'll have to stop steaming them. Can't afford to steam them anymore. So it's not that we can't afford to. It's just that we're not valuing our product enough and selling it for the right price.
There is a value, but it's hard to track. A value in first impressions and
First impressions last.
You know, but that's a value. If I sent those same 100 shirts in a box, press marks, chucked in, boxed up, tape wrapped down, off it goes. Or if I did what I did, I thought, you know what, it's niggling at me enough that I'm going to spend a little bit of time, I'm going to steam them,
You're not
fold them,
allowed to
stack
use
them
that word
nightly.
anymore.
Oh, sorry. Just bugging me a little bit. I can't leave that in, Tony. Well done. You've just given me work to do. I'm going to let this episode go.
We're all right with it. Honestly, it's fine. Let it go.
And you know, that little bit of extra effort, maybe the first impression and they come to me ready to go. They're so nice, they're perfect, they're crisp. And you open it up and you look at that shirt, you go, wow, it's immaculate. There's no markings, there's no folds or anything. Does that have a value over time in the long run? Do you make more money because they come back and they pass it on? And no, you don't see £1 in your bank every time somebody does that. But over time, maybe it adds up.
Yeah, and when it's time to put your prices up, they'll accept it from you. So this goes back to a saying of mine that you know and you love. What are you selling? That's it. That's the shirt from Joe Blogs down the road and a shirt from Flipping Sweet. And this one has all those little extra bits.
I know what it is, this.
So we're both buying a sausage. But what's the difference between this sausage and your sausage?
Sell the sizzle, not the sausage.
Yours has got sizzle, yeah. So that's a perfect explanation of why should I buy from Flipping Sweet. I can buy printed T-shirts from the guy down the road. So why do I buy from Flipping Sweet? And it's those little extra bits all the way around that really add value to your brand. Now, you might think that you're getting the same money as the guy down the road, but when it comes time to put your prices up by 15%, your customer's going to not like it, but accept it because nobody else gives them that sizzle.
Yeah. And I guess this is the game, innit? This is a balance you're juggling.
I didn't even get that saying out of that at all.
I actually feel like that was a really good way. Sell the sizzle, not the sausage. I can't use it in the title because I've probably done it in 7 episodes, but it was a good way to...
I feel like Churchill took it as well, so you can't take it.
I may took it as well. Bless him. But no, I think you're right. That's spot on.
What was your third thing on your list?
My third was borderline technical.
Okay.
And actually, it does kind of feed into
We need a technical. We haven't done a technical this episode. Let's do something technical.
Well, it feeds in a little bit to the marks, pressure marks. Okay. So we have a setting on the MHMs, us MHMs guys, and it's 3 and 1. So you set your flood to 1, so it floods once, and then you set it to 3, and so it goes. Well, it pulls it twice. It floods once, but pulls the ink twice. So it pulls a flooded. Can you explain it, please, Tony?
I'd love to, but I'd honestly, I get more enjoyment on letting you go as far as you possibly can. It's personally for me, it's the best thing ever. So,
I'm fucking off, Tony. Well, I don't agree to this. It's just abuse. Therapy for you, but pure out and out bullying for me.
Yeah, don't change. So, the 3 and 1 setting. Would probably more logically be called a 2 and 1 setting, but
that's what it confuses you.
Yeah, because it should be 2 and 1, which 2 and 1 means I want to do two print pulls, but I only want to flood it once, so I don't want to flood on my second stroke.
Yeah.
Your normal second stroke would be 2 and 2, so your normal 2 stroke would be 2 and 2. So that's with the screen in the up position, it will flood. The screen will drop down. The squeegee will follow. And then the squeegee will cease contact with the screen. The flood bar will not contact the screen. The squeegee carriage will travel to the front of the print stroke again, interact, and print again. So what we've got is with the screen up, we flood, down, print, lift, flood with no contact, and then print. So we get 2 squeegee pulls, but only 1 filling of mesh of the ink, which is a flood.
Yeah, so that is the equivalent to me on a manual, pulling squeegee, or if it's not quite cleared, pull it one more time.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent.
Yeah.
So go on then, carry on.
That's why it exists, because of what you just described on the manual. People wanted to copy that.
So my hypothesis, and I know this is just a hypothesis. This is just I wonder if this is what this is. What if I could really lighten the travel, soften the pressure to a bare minimum where flood, pull, maybe even another pull, so that I'm using as bare minimum as I can pressure and travel, but still clearing the screen. It might be taking a couple more goes, but it's putting very little pressure on the shirt, so you're getting a nice soft buttered on print. You might be using extra pulls, but you're not forcing it in. And that was my theory and my question. I was wondering if that's possible, because I know I can use a 3 and 1 setting. But what if I wanted to what if I just wanted to flood it once, pull it 3 times, for example?
Yeah. So you
possible?
Can do that. Yeah, that's a 5 and 1.
It is, right. Because I had to play about and I couldn't quite get it to do what I wanted. So
the number one, the logic that we've got to get to is how many prints and how many floods must equals an equal number. Right. So add them both together and it has to equal an equal number, which is why 2 and 1 doesn't work, because 2 plus 1 is 3.
Right.
So if it's 3, I start here. 1, 2, 3. Now my next print starts here.
Yeah.
So it's in the wrong place.
Yeah, I feel like that's what.
So I must always have a 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 and 1 equals 4. So it always ends up here. If we have an odd number, like 2 and 1 is 3, so we would go 1, 2, 3. So it ended here. So my next print would be 1, 2, 3. I don't now end up here. So my squeegee and flood bar are in the wrong place.
Yeah, that's a really good way of demonstrating it.
So now I have to. So my 3 and 1 is 1, 2, 3, 1.
Yeah.
So now I'm back here ready to start. My 5 and 1, because 5 plus 1 equals 6, would be 1 flood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives me 3 prints, and you could say 3 floods as well, but the screen's down while it's flooding, so it's not a real in-contact flood.
Yeah.
So a 5 and 1 would give you your 3 squeegee pulls, but only give you 1 flood.
Right.
Now, if you keep to the odd and even numbers, then could I do a 5 and 3? So 5 and 3 equals 8. So therefore, that would give me 2 floods.
Yeah.
And 3 pulls.
Yeah, right.
So that would give me, because I've got a 3, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 3, and then 3. Leave it flooded. So it would, as long as both those numbers add up to an even number, you can have multiple print strokes with minimal flood strokes.
Yeah.
If you were to use odd numbers, you would have to make sure that your pressures were correct and you were using 2 squeegees.
Ah.
So you would print 1 going that way and 1 going that way.
Oh, God. Now we're getting technical.
Yeah. So
have you ever seen anybody do that?
Yes, mainly for maximum coverage of speciality inks like high density, puff, glitter, flock adhesive, foil adhesive. Bear in mind, if your screens are anywhere near baggy, you get screen stretch that way and screen stretch that way.
Right. Yeah, I feel like on a manual at some point I might have gone, I wonder what happens if you pull it and then push it. I mean, you get that like ghosting effect, I guess.
So you can get a ghosting effect, yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean people don't do it. I've seen people do it, especially in the Far East. But usually it's around somewhere where that clarity of that edge is not important.
Yeah, yeah. It was just an hypothesis. Sometimes I think, I wonder what if I do this, what happen? And I guess my concern with that would be, do you start to encourage that? You know, do you start, if it's a white base, for example, are you chancing it spreading because you're pulling it too many times? But then again, I guess if you're adjusting and compensating less
Yeah,
travel, less pressure, maybe you're not.
it's the 6 hills, you know what I mean? If you've got 2 of these on minimum and you're making up for that minimum by not increasing them, but by increasing the number of strokes, then yeah, it's going to work. But
Yeah,
could you get it by exploring these six hills first? Yeah. Do you
yeah,
have time? Do you have skill? Do you have the know-how on how to do it? This was the basis of a question I got last night. Is it possible to print without double stroking? Well, yeah. All right, so you don't double stroke? No, I double stroke all the time. But
yeah,
it's a decision based on what's the best use of my time.
yeah,
So if the best use of my time is to fuck about for 3 hours, changing squeegee blades, remaking mesh counts, and trying every possible angle, or I just go to my press and go 3, 1, that solves it. I needed that little bit of extra ink. So for me, 1 and 1 is, let's say 1 and 1 is giving me 80% ink, but I want 100.
yeah,
So I double stroke 2 and 2. Now I've got 120% ink. It's too much. I wanted to go from 80 to 100, and I went from 80 to 120% because of a double stroke. So what I really want is 1.5 times print.
yeah.
That's where my 3 and 1 comes in. So 3 and 1 gives me 80% on the first stroke and gives me an extra 20% on the second stroke because I'm not filling the mesh with ink. So it's just emptying the mesh of ink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that's an interesting idea. And again, it ties into leaving pressure marks. What if you can minimise it so much that...
So you're not getting the pressure mark, but you're not getting the amount of ink through the mesh that you want.
No, but that's why. So if you pulled it 3 times,
So
and
multiple strokes will cover that issue.
maybe that cures the pressure mark problem.
100%, yeah. 100%. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you understand it costs you time. But if it's a 50-piece run and the time it costs you over the full 50 pieces is 4 minutes, it's well worth the time it costs.
I have time in hand. I'm in a unique situation. I have to wait for my... Do I have to wait? Not really. But it's not a 2-second flash and like every shirt doesn't come off. Maybe it goes around more often than not. It goes around twice.
No,
so
your production time is measured in days, not minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it takes you days. I mean it's like, right, how many days have I got to do this job?
It is, yeah.
So you go to Fresh Air. You know, you've seen they've suddenly become very active on social media, but they've been around longer than me. You know, and I've been in there. It is a factory. That is not an arty crafty print shop. That's a factory where they have dialed everything in to produce supreme prints at least one every 4 seconds. If a print's not coming off of one of those 11 machines every 4 seconds, they don't earn money. So they set it up. You know, Taylor Swift comes into town. She wants 120,000 by tomorrow. There's only one place capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And they turn all 11 machines onto Taylor Swift, and every 4 seconds a little Taylor Swift shirt comes off, and everybody's happy. Now, you're not in that group.
No, definitely not.
I think we're going to see a return to it, if I'm honest. But
you do?
I do, yeah. Honestly, I think the days of end-user printers are under attack from other methods of decoration. DTF, DTG. So end user, somebody comes to... I'm pretty much describing you, which is horrible, but you sell to end user.
Yeah.
Most of the time. That's where most of the money is. And over... You go back 30 years, nobody sold to end user. You couldn't walk into a print factory and ask for 20 shirts. They'd laugh you out the door. You know, go back to, we won't set a machine up for less than 3,000 pieces, because these are industrial factories producing decorated garments.
Yeah.
And that's where the predictable money was made. Now, we've adapted that model. When all that work disappeared to where the cheap labour was, we're left with these machines. Like, how can we fill them? Or can we put 200 of them on? We need 50 of those. Okay, let's go work hard at finding 50 of those. How are we going to make the screens? We've got Johnny lining them up by eye, and he's only got one good eye. And he's run out of sellotape. So what do we do? Oh, there's a machine that we can buy that does that. All right, okay. Well, he can't coat that many screens. He checks when it goes like that now. Right, well, buy a machine that coats screens.
Yeah,
and
you
so
could
we put all that money into solving all the problems of doing short runs at the pre-press stage. We've still got the same press with the same people, well, less people, the same process of pushing the ink through the holes. So we didn't attack that area at all. We attacked the pre. How do we get them to the press? And on and off again.
Yeah, you probably got a fair point there. I feel like that in that corner of the market, DTF and let's said that about DTG though. To be fair, DTG was going to do the same thing, and it never really did it? But
DTG is limited to the type of if DTG print onto any blend of fabric, DTF wouldn't exist.
Yeah, it would have pretty much.
If you've got a DTG machine that prints onto anything, no limit at all, black, white, polyester, rayon, elastine, doesn't matter. If it prints onto everything, screen print would disappear, DTF would disappear.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
it's only because of the limitations of what it can go onto that somebody's thought about DTF.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, good. Right, Tony, I'm happy. We've done a chunky one, 1 hour 50. I think that's a good one for us.
That's good. We're back to normal.
We've got bullied into 1 hour episodes, but fuck it. It's our podcast.
Yeah. It's our podcast. Yeah, screw you. Don't listen.
No,
don't listen.
It's the
we
people's podcast. This is not our podcast. This is yours.
So I just want to shout out to. I just want to shout out to Hannibal Screen Print.
Hannibal Vector.
Yeah,
Hannibal Vector. Hannibal Vector. That's like, if he don't change his Instagram name to that, I'm never doing another podcast.
Prince of Thieves. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some really good names recently. People are getting creative.
I was in Stuttgart at the show, and these guys turned up all the way from, I've forgotten where, I think it was Slovakia, Slovenia, even, with a shirt for me, with my saying on that, like all things in life, you want to start hard and finish soft. So a big shout out to them. Thank you very much for that. There's also a bottle of beer with it, which I've drunk, and a little bottle. I'm
pretty sure that bottle of beer was empty before it left his chuffy down.
It didn't make customs. Let's put it that way. I know.
Oh my god! Hey, you've had a long month, so fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, we're done.
Let's wrap it up because Tony's got to get out of bed, and I'm expecting a pallet.
It's me. That's a phone call. That's my phone ringtone.
Is that your phone ringtone?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's an old
crazy frog.
Can you remember when we used to paint it? We used to buy ringtones. Now the first thing we do when we get a phone is put it on fucking silent.
I do, yeah. Well, I don't even vibrate. I just somebody rung me 2 hours ago. I must admit though, there's a nostalgic. Remember the Nokia 5110s? You could have a little GIF bar, and you'd open a magazine and say, I do want Crazy Frog for £1.50. Text me.
Call this number for £1.50 and you get Crazy Frog.
Those are the days. I mean, you could swap the case, the little fronts, with pictures of Britney Spears or whatever. Those are the days.
I used to print those.
I didn't, but it was all sublimation, wasn't it?
No.
I used to do it properly.
I used to print them screen print on a flatbed.
Oh, really? Oh.
And I didn't do them officially.
I want to say knockoff. Of course you did.
Yeah, because phone cases were big.
Massive.
On what we call the grafters. Grafters are people who sell on the street.
Yeah, the market stalls and stuff. You'd see them. I used to live in Selby at the time, and Selby Market were quite a big market. And the number of
so is Britain's
phone cases.
Market. Yeah, and phone cases, you get a trolley and you put all the phone cases on, and you buy these blank cases because we only had about 20 different phones at that time. Yeah. And then I would print Leeds United, Blackburn, Manchester in 2 or 3 colours onto these curved bleeding foam backs with vinyl ink and a screen, like 12 at a time.
Wow.
in a little jig made out of like Play-Doh.
You really have done it all. Literally.
It didn't go well. But a friend of mine said, I'm terrible. I need to learn the word no, but it's basically, can we print them?
I can have a
Plastic is flat. Yeah. How much do you think it cost? Cost anything. There'd be no ink cost in that. Bloody hell, it's only that big. All right, do you think we can do 12 at a time, one stretch? Yeah, maybe. We'd need a flatbed. Right, flatbed's here tomorrow. Okay, let's print these then.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what the new? We had a walk around Skirting Market on Sunday. It's shite. It was fuck all there. Everybody's just selling toys. You know when you go to boot sales nowadays, it's just full of kids' toys. It's bugger all at boot sales now. Bloody rubbish. I love a boot sale, but gone right downhill. But anyway, it's all White Fox.
I don't have the patience for it. White Fox, yeah. White Fox.
Everywhere,
White
knockoff.
Fox.
And there must have been 6 different boot sales / market stores full of knockoff Gilders with White Fox in puff. Not even right good puff. Terrible puffing. Everywhere.
They're responsible for the resurgence in puff is all White Fox.
I would say they are, yeah.
My daughter came home with a White Fox hoodie on. Obviously, didn't live with me, but I'm like, oh, White Fox? Where have you got that from? Oh, no, let me have a look. Look like a guild on. How much did you pay for it? 80 quid. What? Give us a White Fox. It's printed in Leicester.
It's not a White Fox. Some bloke just did it. Honestly.
On the news, just before we go, talking about Leicester, there is a big print shop closed in Leicester. I don't know whether you know or not.
I don't know. That's bad. So it's a bad sign, in a way.
This contributes to the industry, are we on a decline or not? I would say UK-wide, number of machines, either second or third largest in the UK.
Right.
I think the largest has 14. This guy had either 9 or 11.
Am I right in thinking this was a preemptive strike? This was a guy who kind of saw where it were going and said, done.
No money in this. Yeah, I joined. I started doing this. Goes back to my previous comment. Started doing this in the 80s when we were getting rich. I was driving around in Bentleys. I had properties all over just from printing, and as longer I could keep it running, the more money I made. Now, I'm running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I can't make any money at it. And decided to close the doors before it went really, really bankrupt. I think they declared insolvency, but. Normally when that happens, the ink companies get taken for thousands, the screen companies get taken for thousands, the supply companies get taken for thousands, and nobody's screaming, nobody really got taken. A few grand here and there, that's all.
Oh, so it kind of... Oh, well, in that way it's a bit...
So just worked out. Just faded off, yeah. Well, I asked if the machines were any good. No, they're not good. Been in there not long, not spending any money on them, never upgraded them. Just got as much money out of it as possible.
Run ragged. Run to the brink of death. Got out. Job done.
Yeah.
Made the money.
But a long time. We're going a long time.
Well, take it as you will. Is it positive? Is it negative? There's a gaping chasm that needs to be filled right there.
No, the work was drying up. So
that's fair. I suppose that's why they're close.
There are a couple of UK clothing manufacturers based around Manchester that keep the town of Leicester busy in print. You know who they are? No?
Who?
Yeah. Who?
Who?
You're a pretty little thing, you aren't you?
I'm with you. Picking up what you're putting down, Tony.
So they kept a lot of the work in Leicester, and they've reduced their output or their demand. And the knock-on is, the factories that were supplying that demand are starting to feel the pain.
I don't.
I don't know where it's been replaced, whether that demand's been replaced from offshore or not. I don't know. I don't have that information. I'm not speaking from inside. I'm speaking from outside. I'm purely observing. But I think that's the way it's going to go. Is we're going to see these shops consolidating because there's only so much work. There isn't we maybe saturated the work level. We maybe got to the point of where, right, that's it. There's no more work. There's 800 of you. There's 800 pressers in the UK, MHMs alone. So that there's only so much work. There's only so much work we can fill those with.
The quota's been filled. Maybe.
If people are buying new machines and setting up, that 800 gets, the work gets diluted by now 850.
Yeah.
But so I think if we hit saturation point and we bring that number back down to 600, then the same level of work now fills 600 printers rather than trying to spread the same amount of work over 900 printers. So inevitably, it'd be a good thing.
Yeah, and there's a natural cull that we've talked about.
Yeah,
and,
it's happened before. We've seen it before.
Yeah. Remain optimistic. Remain defiant. There's always a way.
There's still place for selling your sausage and your sizzle together. I think as long as you provide your unique point of what you sell, then you're on a winner. Yeah,
and don't abandon social media. There we go. Wrapped it up. Let's do a sign. Oh, it's 11:11. That's like an angel number. It's good luck. 11:11.
Stop that bollocks.
Woosah.
Right, okay, so all that remains to be done now is to say thank you for watching, listening, putting up with and tolerating me and Danny as we dribble along through the normal day for 2 hours. We used to do 3-hour sessions, so 2 hours is no.
Yeah, but we used to get pissed when we were doing them, so it flew by. And we couldn't remember it either. It was just like deleting part of our life for a few hours.
You had notes this time.
I know, well,
Did you do all 3 of them?
No, I only put one of them on for me. Did you mean did we touch on all 3 of them? I did come up with all 3 by myself, yeah. No, we touched on them. Steam, social media, 3 and 1.
Oh, okay, so we're all right.
Yeah, I mean, I had stuff back at brain, didn't I? I had stuff that we could, but we just had the conversation flowed. We filled a couple hours.
It's back to good old days. We like that. Let's do it again next time. Right, so we'll sign off. You have been watching in true what was it? Are you been served fashion? Do you remember that?
No,
Are you being served?
Showing your age again there, Tony.
Oh, fucking hell, I feel old.
Are you being served? Is that French with that? Is that comedy with the French bloke who was just a middle his merds up?
No, that was Allo Allo.
No, it was Allo, wasn't it?
Yeah. Are you being served was Mrs. Solcombe with a pussy, if you remember.
Oh, right. Well,
it's a department store.
No, that was dinner ladies, wasn't it?
Yeah. Department store. Right, okay. So we'll leave that behind. And we shall sign off with You Have Been Watching. Me, Tony P from Palm Print, and
Danny D, Flippy Sweet Print Co.
So if you like what you hear, give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, tell your friends, donate money, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. And we will catch up with you next time. All that remains to be said is...
I'll see you.
Don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry Kool-Aid. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy Tea.